And then I do under, for every subscriber, one line, like my crew on the ship that are going with me. So here are my longship crew so far. Let's go out in the world and explore.
Through the ages we came, through the steel and flame, changed our names and our clothes, but we stayed the same.
Maybe you hear some sound improvement. I hope you do. Because I also heard the crappy sound my first episodes. And it's also really bad light, because it's so strong over the bench and the rest of the garage is completely darkness. So we're gonna pop this up in the roof and make it more even. So maybe it's get some better quality also, because it's better light. And if you also want to be able to be strap on things on your top box like this, maybe a tent or something on small, nice aluminium pieces that melts in the aluminium color in the top box, then you should watch these coming episodes, because all this is gonna be covered in the luggage episodes. So we have better sound, soon better light, and also soon a better bike after the modifications. So let's go back to the garage.
The song of the ancients still survives. Hey ho, we never died. Hey ho, we are alive in the hearts of the brave, in the blood, in the bone. The spirit of the north will carry us home.
For the result, it turned out good. I think it's enough with 3. I could have 4, but I don't. I think this LED light is too sharp when it's too bright. So I think this good amount of light. And also I have an apartment up here, and this garage is just for rent, like a car slot. So I didn't want to make too much effort, because I'm probably gonna take this down when I move out. When I moved in, this was the only light I had, like a regular bulb in this one. Then I had this temporary over the bench before, but now we have this semi-permanent installation, so it's really good. But there is a car in here, and you know what we have to do. Welcome again. In today's episode of me going to the garage and have no idea what I'm about to do, I'm gonna try to keep the stick to this part, just the tablet things. But you saw my charging solution at my first video, but I'm gonna do this like its own charging port. So I also need this. And to mount the remote button where I want it, I also need the handguards. So I don't know how this will turn out. I just go here and film, and then we'll see. And you saw I bought 2 microphones. So my plan is to get this one as close as I can to my ear in the helmet. And when I have this in my ear, maybe I can put up a decibel meter here, so you can see how much sound it makes when I'm driving at the same speed. And then I try this small modification, like sun damping material, how much difference does it make. Then I can test this wind deflector. Does it do any difference? Then you can see it here. Then I can try this big wind deflector. Does it do any different? You can see it here. So that's the plan for a later episode. But yeah, let's get started with this. So we start with the device itself. It's a Samsung Active 3, which I bought from here. Go and buy it. It's quite cheap for being a used one, and also it was mint condition. It was really mint condition. It had no scratch at display, no scratch on the backside. It was really mint condition. It was good and cheap. If you go to a dealer and buy it, it's quite expensive. So buy a used one if you're gonna use it for this rough purpose. Why did I choose just this device for my navigation? As I see it, probably gonna forget something, but you have some options. You have a regular phone, cheap China CarPlay. You have a regular iPad mini or a cheaper Chinese tablet. You have like the Torque, like the big tablets made for motorcycles, and Samsung 4 tablets and more expensive tablet things. And if we start with the phone, I think a phone is a really good option to use as a navigation device. It's usually have a bright display because it's made to be outside also. You usually have it, so it's super budget friendly. And also it's really good, you can download like any app you want and customize it as you want. And yeah, it's a good option. The downside, I think, is this is a little bit more luxury. You have this big screen for navigation. You can zoom out in, give a good overview or where you're at when you're lost down in Europe. You can go to this page, which I use a lot. You have the map over here, speedometer here, and Spotify to intercom over here. So I think this is just a little more luxury, but the phone works also great. And then you have this cheap AliExpress device, like CarPlay stuff over there. I think the downside there is it's probably good for navigation and stuff, but you leave it on the motorcycle always. You can't use it for, you can't like download every app and stuff. You can't use the CarPlay device and go and check if there are any motorcycles for sale. This you can take to bed, watch Netflix. You can, yeah, I don't need to teach you how an Android device works. You understand what I mean. And then you have maybe an old iPad mini or a Chinese cheaper tablet. But I really tried to look at alternatives, and it's really hard to find one that is... This has 700 nits at the display at the sunlight mode, the highest. And it's really hard to find a cheap Chinese tablet with bright enough screen that also is IP rated. Because this have some rugged edges and stuff, and it lives a quite hard life on a motorcycle handlebar. And then you have these devices that are meant for motorcycles, like maybe Torque device or something. And yeah, if you are itchy boots that lives on the motorcycle, I would also probably use those, because they have a much brighter display than this, and they are meant to be on a handlebar. But they are absolutely not budget friendly. And I would also say that this device is better for this all day use. You can have it in the bed watching Netflix. So I think this have one upside from a Torque, and it is the multi-purpose function. Also, like Samsung Active 4 and 5, they are of course better at probably everything, but here it comes just down to price. I couldn't find one at a good price. This $120 or euro it's my choice. It was a winner out of all options I looked at. There are much videos out there that show how good this app is, so I don't want to dive too deep in it, but I can show you real quick some features that I like later on or in next episode. Just super quick. This is why like an old TomTom device is so 90s and a CarPlay device is so 2010. This is the app for motorcycle. It's like you steal the benefits from an $800 Torque device and put it in this cheap tablet, and it works like 92% as good. Especially if you also connect this remote button, the cheap one that we're gonna do later. It's a real upgrade in driving experience from with a modern touch. You can see like real quick rain, real time if it's coming towards you. You can create GPX files at the computer and import it to the tablet, so you can, if you know from home that you want to go a certain road or cool view, so you have it saved in the tablet, so the route is done. You can also hook it up with an OBD reader and have temperature of the engine, RPM. It's like you take, in my case, this old bike, and then you're upgrading the cockpit like 30 years with this cheap upgrade. So it's really, really good. Insanely nice app. Thank you, Torque, for not locking into just your $800 devices. Go and have a look what options there is out there, and let me know if I forgot some, because there probably are more options. And tell me what you use. It's funny to know. Yeah. And then the mount of my choice. Why did I choose this cheap Temu mount over a like raw mount and other mounts that are meant for just this exactly tablet? It's because First, I just use this tablet when I really want to have the navigation and go on a trip or something. I don't use this when I go to the supermarket. So when I take this away, then I just have this on my handlebar, like a quite small mount. Imagine having this raw mount on the handlebar, and then you're not using the tablet because you're just going to the supermarket. Then you have this big chunky plastic thing right in your cockpit. That's not nice looking. And when I install this on my handlebar like this, I have a slick, nice, crisp, edge looking navigation setup. If I'm having this raw mount, I have these big edges. It just looks clumsy. This looks sharp and nice. And also this raw mount is charging on these pins. And I've seen a lot of comments on the internet that they get corroded because they sit on the downside and it rains, fall down into the pins and they get corroded and the connection is getting lost. So I think it's better to have it like this. Then I put the USB-C cable in and it works. And also I know with some of these mounts I can't use an angled USB-C cable. This looks also crisp and nice. I don't want some out-sticking thing. When this is corroded so I can't use it, then I need to plug in straight connection. No, I want it like this. And these mounts, like raw mounts and stuff, are absolutely not budget friendly. This is. So it's nicer to look at. It's nicer to look at without the tablet. I have 3 options for charging and it's rock solid stable. I can show you. We screw this. You don't have to screw it super tight because this rubber makes a really good friction on the tablet. We do like this. Then we're gonna go do a hardcore off-road jump and bump test. Hang on. This is not going anywhere, I promise you. So give me a reason why I shouldn't use this over a raw mount. Yeah, maybe because it's not lockable. Well, guess what? I sorted out. So when you get this mount from Temu, it looks like this, without the hole, like this. And I use these 2 holes are original. If you can see it in the picture I posted here. So I mounted 2 M6 with this 15mm spacer. It depends on the windscreen you have, how the navigation bar is mounted and everything of course, but I use 15mm spacer. And then I made this bracket and put drilled holes and threaded this one and put 2 M5 bolts in here, which I Loctited super tight. This also Loctite super tight. Then I drilled a hole in this adjusting nut thing. So this aligns with the bracket from behind. And then I had this from my previous GPS mount that came with the bike, the TomTom one. So I used this ball bracket ram mount thing, but you can use anything with a ball if you want. Maybe this or this or this. So that's what I've done with it, so it suits me, but it depends how it looks like. You need to test it out and see how everything will suit you. Maybe you need to have the mount over here so it's more upwards or downwards or side. And to this mount I use this from AliExpress. Really good. Because all things of my choice is non-plastic. I don't want rattling plastic on my handlebars. I want this aluminium or metal, so it's sturdy and nice. So it leaves us with this. This is a good distance for me. You can also choose, maybe you have the clamp with a ball and then you have this longer arm if it suits you better. Maybe you want the tablet closer to you like this or a longer thing. There are plenty of options to buy, cheap ones. But this suits me. So if you have the same navigation bar and bike, go with these things. Maybe we can start to mount this on the navigation bar so I show how it fits like, and then we show the lockable remote things and stuff. Yeah. Because this is really smooth, not sticky at all, no grip at it. And this rubber pieces on the mount isn't the best. So I'm gonna put this up, mark it where I want it with a pen, and then clean everything up, and then put double adhesive tape at it.
Vart leder stigen som bleknar i skyn mot skuggornas boning där ingen går fri under ekens rötter där tystnad är.
This is a really nice, grippy, good tape. Where I am going by it.
Jag bär dina namn, jag glömmer dig när namn
And then just line it up
och världen blir skev.
right there.
Jag roper från förfäders land till helgår min vandring med runor i Vart leder stigen som bleknar i skyn mot skuggornas boning där ingen går fri under ekens rötter där tystnad bor där viskar den döda i vindarnas ord. Jag bär dina namn, jag glömmer dig ej när natten är tung och världen blir skev. Följer jag ropen från förfäders land till helgår min vandring med runor i hand.
So there it is, mounted on, and here is how it looks like. This is how it, fuck. If I take you to my eye height and do a ultra wide. You see, I can't put it further down because it would cover my lamps, like turn signals and stuff, when driving, and it's really annoying. I tried to have it a bit lower, but it's no good. I need to have it in this height. And if I rise it even further up, it would look even more stupid. So this is the most slick mount that I can find for this bike. And if we go down and show you from the side and from the front, it looks like this. And from the front, like this. So I think it looks good. It looks like super big screen, but you're getting tricked because it ain't that big. So I see that we are running out of time. I can't, if I'm gonna show this remote button and how I bind it to the tablet, then this episode is gonna be too long. You can do it in two ways, or of course many ways, but two main ways. You can use this app to bind it up, so you have this function on the remote buttons. Or you can use another app, depending on what function you want. But I can show you real quick. This is supposed to sit something like this. I'm not gonna have it like this, because if I drive over here, so if I'm gonna reach out to this one, I can almost as good go to the tablet and zoom out. So this is not good. I'm gonna have it in my handguard. So when I have it in my handguard, I can just reach out with the finger and press the buttons. So I tried both, and this is much better for me. If you want to buy this button, it's really good, have 1 year battery life, and it's super easy. I don't know, we take this in the next episode. If you want to buy one, so you have one, go and buy it. We're also gonna check in the next episode is if this charge the tablet fast enough, because I can't have a decreasing battery level on the tablet. It would be very stupid. If you want something simple like this, like hide away with just the cable down, go and buy it. If you want a lockable, or even better, if you want to choose to have a lockable mount for your tablet, you can have it like this when going to a friend's house, because you know no one's gonna steal it anywhere. So it's easy to mount, easy to take away. Or if you want, like me, going to a long Europe trip, then I plug this in, then it's lockable. Also gonna fix this quick mount. We can't have it like this if no one's gonna steal it. So this is also gonna be fixed. So it's thief proof. If you want something like this, go and buy it. This is how the end result is. Well, not the end result, but the end result of this video. Now we continue in the next one. I think now we're at 96 subscribers. It makes me super happy. Also makes me want to do the next episode as soon as possible. Now I have to go to work 12 hours a day, and then editing at the night. And editing takes me a long time. Even my computer is even too slow for using CapCut and stuff, so I had to borrow one, and I don't even have a mouse. I use this touch plate, sitting like a caveman, trying it first time seeing a computer. But I learn, and it's quite fun. Maybe we should... I was thinking about this earlier. If we do one line for every subscriber, I make a longship. Because this is a Vikings modern longship going on explore raids. I make a longship, and then I do for every subscriber one line like my crew on the ship that are going with me. I think we do it. I paint on the wall here because I rented. Yeah, I can paint it on. $85, 90, 95, and how many are we at? So here are my longship crew so far. Let's go out in the world and explore. I also just found out that I recently changed this with Honda ceilings in the fork, but maybe you see in the intro when I was wheeling, that was enough to break it. So I need to redo this one. Because of the price I had to pay for doing an intro wheelie, we play it as an outro. Here, enjoy. It cost me a fork seal.
In the land of the north where There's a fire in our hearts, a storm in our veins. The blood of the Vikings still